to Sealing Juvenile Court Records. This short web tutorial is designed to give you basic information about juvenile court records, who can seal them, and how to seal them. This tutorial is generously funded by a grant from the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention of the U.S. Department of Justice. Today's presenters are Rosie Thurman, an attorney with Team Child in Spokane, and Nicole McGrath, a private attorney in Seattle. People who have gone through the juvenile court system deserve to build a life free from the shadow of court records trailing them. First, we will talk about what kinds of information and documents are contained in juvenile records. Second, we'll briefly discuss why you want to seal records and who can seal them. Third, we'll explain who is eligible to seal their records. Next, we'll discuss the processes for sealing juvenile court records. Finally, we'll provide resources to help for sealing records.
What are juvenile records? These are the papers that are included in a person's legal file and contain such things as the petition or information which identifies what the criminal charges were, probable cause statements, which are the prosecutor's version of the facts surrounding the offense, legal motions and briefs filed by the attorneys, statements from victims or witnesses in declarations or affidavits, witness or exhibit list, disposition orders, which identify the sentencing requirements, probation violations, and restitution orders. Some court-related documents may not be in your juvenile file. Files maintained by the probation officer or other juvenile justice agencies like the police, prosecutors, or detention facilities are generally confidential and cannot be seen by the public. However, if your court file is sealed, these will also be sealed.
There are many areas of a person's life negatively impacted by these records. Those areas can be in employment, when you try to get a job and they do a background check, housing, when the landlord asks for a background check and learns that you may have a criminal record, education if you apply for colleges, immigration if you are not a citizen, your credit score and getting the credit to purchase things such as a car and get a driver's license. After the court enters the order sealing the official juvenile court record, the social files and other records related to the case shall be treated like they never occurred, and you can say that the matter never happened. The agency with the records must say that they don't exist and can't give out any information. Sadly, some private companies may have gotten information about your juvenile records earlier. If someone reports this to you, it may help to provide copies of your sealing order to show potential employers and landlords that you were honest and your juvenile record is now clear. Please beware that juvenile court records can still be viewed by the prosecutors, police, FBI, and court clerks. Any adjudication of a juvenile offense or crime after the sealing has the effect of nullifying the sealing order. However, it can be resealed when the subsequent offense is eligible. But even the charging of an adult offense will reopen the file and it cannot be resealed. Those agencies that provide background information may still report your juvenile criminal records if they obtain that information before the matter was sealed. Often providing others with the sealing order can help if you have been denied housing or credit based on that charge.
Before we get into the steps on how to seal a juvenile record, please know that it can be a complicated process. which is why we strongly recommend you check out the resources in this webinar, and if possible, speak with a lawyer. There's one good online resource we really want to tell you about. It's the Sealing Juvenile Court Records in Washington State materials at the Teen Child website. The materials will take you step by step through what needs to be done to seal your records. It can be found in the web link of materials provided during this presentation. If you click on the link above, it can take you directly to the webinar. In order to seal your records, there are several steps you'll have to take. We'll take you through these in more detail, but here's a quick summary. First, you'll need to figure out if you're eligible, and if not, when you will be eligible. Second, you must understand the different processes used for sealing records. Third, you'll need to gather information and documents to help with the process. And in juvenile sex offense cases, there are some additional requirements.
There are 5 factors to consider in figuring out whether you're eligible now or when you'll be eligible to seal a juvenile court record. First, was it a juvenile case? The juvenile court record sealing laws apply to a juvenile who committed a crime up to the age of 18 years old, had the case heard in juvenile court, and was convicted in juvenile court. The juvenile record sealing statute does not apply to teenagers who committed a crime and were declined or transferred for prosecution in the adult criminal justice system. Second, we need to look at which crime the juvenile committed, or more specifically, which crime the court entered an adjudication order on and found the juvenile guilty of committing. You are not eligible for record sealing if the crime was rape in the first degree or second degree, or indecent liberties with forcible compulsion. All other crimes qualify for record sealing. Third, at least 2 years must have passed since you were sentenced or released from jail, whichever occurred latest. This time includes probation violation time as well. The wait period is 5 years if the crime was a Class A felony. This also means that you cannot have a criminal charge pending if you were trying to seal your records. If you have a new crime, the waiting period begins all over again. Finally, all restitution must have been paid if there was restitution ordered in your case. Restitution is the money the court ordered you to pay the victim. This does not include any other fees or fines ordered by the court. In fact, if you meet all these requirements and owe fines or fees, you can still seal your record.
There are 2 ways that juvenile records can be sealed. For some crimes adjudicated or found guilty after July 2014, the record will be eligible to seal automatically, also referred to as an administrative sealing hearing. For all other cases, the young person must make a written request to the court known as a motion to seal. To help you figure out whether you qualify for administrative sealing or whether you must bring a motion, take a look at these questions. Were you found guilty in juvenile court, which is referred to as an adjudication, prior to July 2014? If yes, your case is not eligible for administrative sealing. To seal your record, you must bring a motion. So if your adjudication was after July 2014, was your offense one of those listed under the law as either a most serious offense, a sex offense, or a drug offense? If yes, your case isn't eligible for administrative sealing. You must bring a motion. All right, one more. You were found guilty of anything else. That means you were not found guilty of any of the offenses mentioned on the previous slide, and your adjudication hearing was after July 2014. If yes, then your case is eligible for administrative sealing. However, if you'd like, you can still file a motion with the court.
Administrative sealing is a process where a juvenile court record can be automatically sealed. At the disposition hearing, which is a sentencing hearing in juvenile court, the young person will be given an administrative sealing date. That date is usually within 1 month of his or her 18th birthday. On that date, the court will automatically seal the court record if these 3 requirements are met. There are no new offenses pending or on your record. All conditions of probation, such as community service or counseling, have been completed. All restitution has been paid. If these conditions are met, the juvenile court record will be sealed. If these conditions are not met, the record will not be sealed. However, you can seek to have it sealed later by filing a formal motion to the court.
With very few exceptions, all juvenile records can be sealed by asking the court, first, double-check that you have met the eligibility requirement, which we previously discussed. You will need to file a document with the court that's called Motion and Declaration to Seal Records of Juvenile Offender. The court will schedule and hold a hearing to determine if all conditions have been met. You can represent yourself at this hearing or request assistance from one of the record sealing clinics if there is one in your county. Your public defender will not appear at this hearing. Please see the resources and web links at the boxes on the right side of your screen for more instructions, forms, and information. When you bring a motion, you must get your entire past criminal history. You can get it at the local Superior Court clerk's office. And while you're there, most juvenile court clerk staff can be very helpful and friendly when you have questions about the record sealing process. Most of the time, they really want to help you out. The criminal history will be a list of past juvenile arrests and crimes, as well as any driving offense cases and currently charged adult criminal matters. You will also need to get a record of any past owed legal financial obligations, such as court fines or restitution. Restitution must be paid in full to a victim. Other court-imposed fees and costs do not have to be paid before sealing a juvenile record. However, they should still be paid because they will be reported to credit reporting companies, and you'll still continue to owe them even if your record is sealed.
If you were found guilty of a sex offense, you may also be eligible to seal your court records. As previously mentioned, 3 kinds of sex offense cases are ineligible to seal: rape in the first degree, rape in the second degree, and indecent liberties with forcible compulsion. For eligible juvenile court offenses, sealing is a 2-step process. It is complex, and again, consulting with an attorney or legal clinic is a good idea. The first step requires the person seek relief from the Sex Offense Registry. A motion and declaration must be filed with the court requesting relief from the obligation to register. At the heart of this motion is whether the person has been sufficiently rehabilitated to warrant removal from the registry. If the court grants this motion, make sure to save a copy of the court order. The second step is then to file a motion to seal the juvenile record. As part of this motion, the person will need to have a copy of the judicial order granting removal from the Sex Offense Registry to show the person successfully completed the first steps.
One final note. The court revokes your right to possess firearms if you have been convicted of a juvenile or adult felony. Record sealing will not reinstate your gun rights. That is a separate legal action. Court clerks can direct you to the appropriate forms, or you may want to seek the help of a private attorney. Reinstatement of your gun rights may be necessary for certain jobs or joining the military.
A person who wants to get their juvenile record sealed are not entitled to court-appointed attorneys, but there are some organizations that provide assistance to people who wish to seek a court order to seal their juvenile records. At Washington Law Help and Team Child, there are guides to sealing records in printable forms. On that website, a person can complete the record sealing simply by filling in the required information. Another place to find forms and information is the Washington State Court's website. In several counties, there are sealing clinics where a person can meet with an attorney and get help with the paperwork and process for filing a motion to seal. These clinics are all independent with different locations, hours of operation, and levels of service. In the box on the right of your screen, there are links to clinics in several different counties around the state. There is additional information provided in the other boxes, including the statutes and other information for lawyers, as well as guides to juvenile records and the sealing process.